Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you all. Happy Wednesday. I get this up and running over here. Got it fell, Jasmine. Don't like when it falls. We got it though. We got it. Good morning to everybody. Happy Wednesday to you all. Happy middle of the week. My name is Coach Brock Zedian, life coach, business coach, real estate coach, DAD, and sometimes Sherry. I'm just gonna head traveler. I'm gonna head traveler. It's gonna be as Sherry would say. Like I went through the checkout or the what you would call it security line, and it was the same lady. I was just like, I think I'm here too much if it's the same person here at the security line. So I am in Tennessee again. I'm Nashville. Went to Nashville again. John Hart. Yeah, something to sip on that one. It's just so crazy just being here in less than a week. The same streets, the same roads. Just kind of like I picked up Jim at the Music City. We were blessed and fortunate. Thank you to Gary. So we were going to go to the hockey game together, and his flight got changed up a little bit. He's like, I'm not going to make it in time. And so I was like, Jim, you want to go to the game? So Jim and I went to a hockey. I've been to more Nashville freaking Predator games than I've been in any other game. Like every time I seem to come in Nashville, I'm down there. We were laughing. We were like, we don't even drink, and here we are. We've been at Broadway more than ever. Then we go into the suite that they have down there. It's like kids at the like Halloween. We walk in. I still have the bracelet on. I can't get it off. It's like handcuffs on me, so I have to figure out how to take this off here in a little bit. But we walk in. The guy goes, the bartender goes, "Welcome. All the food you want, all the drinks you want. What can I get you boys?" And we both looked at each other and we're like, damn, where was this like freaking like 15 years ago? Like all the food and the drinks that you want, open bar and everything else. We would have been in heaven. Then I know after the game, we would have went right down to Broadway. And I was just like, boy, have our lives changed. So him and I sat down and we were able to get like a table while we watched the game. But we talked business. We talked vision. We talked about what we want to do. We talked about what this is going to look like. We talked about how we're going to help people. We talked about how we want to make Nashville our main ingredient for our new journey. We asked each other like crazy questions. How many of you have somebody like that in your life that you can ask them, like, man, what's your goal? What are you trying to get out of this? Why do you do what you do? Why do you speak? Why do you travel? Where do you want to be in a year? Where do you want to be when you're in 10 years from now? What does that look like? What are you willing to pay the cost for? Just like all these crazy questions we were asking each other. And it was good. Like, and I don't portray this by any means. Like, if you think I got my life put together all after last night, I'm like, I'm in a shit show, aren't I, Jim? Like, I don't even know what the hell I want to do. And sometimes you get in that life, you're just like, what am I trying to do? Where am I going with this? Like, why do I do what I do? And he just really made me think a lot. And then I went for a run this morning in the freezing cold Nashville weather. It is Antarctica over here, all it is cold. And I was running and I thought I could just run in my sweatshirt. I couldn't, Brittany. So it was so cold. I went back inside. I grabbed my peacoat and I started running in my dressed up peacoat. And I saw some other joggers that were running in their like outfits, like all like training and everything else. They're probably like, what an idiot. Did you see that guy who's wearing a pea coat freaking running? But I was just like, I'm doing it. I'm getting this in. And so for anybody that's really getting it in, trying to figure out whatever it is, just continue to build habits and behaviors because that's the only thing that I've known that's worked is just like I gotta go for a run. It doesn't matter how cold it is. You're gonna wear a pea jacket, you're gonna wear a pea coat, you're gonna wear a hat, and you're just gonna keep going at it and you're gonna keep doing whatever it is that you need to do. And eventually something good will happen to you. And that's what happened with Brittany here was she worked through me, not worked through me, like her and I worked together. And so we had a conversation. She reached out to me a couple of months ago. For those that weren't there at Nashville, I want to give you a little lay of the land of here of Brittney. And so we met at Coach Burt up in, well, we never met, but we knew each other from Coach Burt. And then we were certified coaches with Burt, and we worked together for quite some time. And we, just like as always, the ships all come together, and then when they leave port, they kind of go their own ways. And eventually you meet up again because the ports are all the same, but you come from different experiences. And so Brittney and I, she reached out, and I was like, you know what? I really liked her. I'm gonna reach back out to her because, and I say this nicely, all like sometimes you get some really crazy people. I had somebody ask me out to lunch yesterday. I'm like, well, who is this? And they wouldn't give me their name. I was like, no, I'm not going out to lunch with you. But Brittany and I just had a connection, and then her husband Ryan, and then I got to see him for the first time in Nashville. I loved her stage presence. I love her passion. I love her energy. I love her intensity. I love everything that she has in what she pours out into people. And I'm just going to call it how it is. Okay. John gets a little upset when I say a couple of choice words, but I just want to say Brittany's a badass all. Like she really is. Like she's just like, boom, she just like brings it. There's like intense. When I go into my conversations where I'm like, I'm not, as they call tender footing this. Like I gotta go in, but I love that. I love how she brings that energy because you need that. Put a five in the chat. How many of you want to be badasses? Put a five in the chat if you want to be around those type of people too. You either want to be one or you want to be around one. And that's what I look for when it comes time for guests, when it comes time for speakers. And so Brittany's going to be stepping into our Wednesdays, and she's going to be creating some energy. She's going to be bringing the passion. She's going to be bringing the heat, and she's going to be with us now on Wednesdays. And I'm really, really excited because it's always about bringing new attitude, new energy, new things. And Rebecca was amazing. But just like anything, we shift patterns and things takes place. And Rebecca and I met while we were in Nashville, and she was going to be doing some different things. And I was just like, I know just the person that could fill those shoes. And Bill Belichick used to say, he used to say, next man up. In this case, next woman up, next woman up. And in this case here, I'm very, very blessed and thankful that Brittany is like, yeah, I'm all in. So, guys, do me a favor with this family that we have here, this culture. I like to see as many hearts as we can. If you don't know where the heart emoji is, just find it. Just find it. Just don't find the middle finger emoji. Put fives and hearts in the chat as we welcome my dear friend, and I'm so excited to have her on here, Brittney Hall. Good morning, Brittany. Welcome aboard.
Good morning. Good morning. Wow. That was quite the lead up, Brock. I'm like, man, I hope I can deliver. Good morning, everybody. I'm just super thankful to be here. It's always great when somebody gives you an opportunity to speak to their people. It's always an honor. And yeah, I just hope that I steward the opportunity well. So, are you guys ready to dive in? Because I've got some stuff for you. It's like my desk looks like a war room right now. There's like papers everywhere. I'm like, what am I going to bring these people this morning? Because we got about 20 minutes, right? And we're just gonna roll. So I hope you have your pen and paper because every time that I come onto these calls, I'm gonna hit three categories with you. And I do this in my own coaching program too with people is we hit on mindset, we hit on skills, and we're gonna hit on an action that you can take from today and go put it into your week. Because I really think that people overcomplicate business and growth. I think people make a lot of money out of making things seem complicated in the industry that I'm in, which would be that coaching, personal development industry. I technically consider myself a business consultant, but I do have a coaching program that I do every week. And we hit on this same stuff. But my goal is always to make it simple because I think that when our brain gets like thinking that things are too complicated, what happens is we get into analysis paralysis, where it's like we have too much information, we don't even know how to move forward. So, my goal is to give you some simple nuggets that you're like, yep, I'm going to go put that into action this week because that is how you move the needle. That's how you grow. I have a background in sales. I sold at a very high level. I have built multiple businesses. So, I really believe that if you do a few things every day, you create so much momentum that the other stuff will figure itself out. One of my favorite things that somebody ever told me, and this guy was like he would just run through a wall. Like he's just crazy energy. And I remember when I was starting my company, I was like, but I don't really know how to like how do I explain to people what I do and how I can help them? He goes, don't worry about all that. He goes, go find somebody to pay you 15 grand and figure it out later. And I was like, that is something that I will never forget. So I believe in these simple things. Sometimes we forget about what's really the main thing. So, okay, let's dive in. Are you ready? I said mindset, skills, and action, right? Mindset is the thing that gets you locked in. Skills are what give you leverage. And then action creates momentum. Okay, so the mindset piece that I want to talk to you about today, and sometimes I can get going way too much on this and I'll waste all of our time, but because I really want to hit these three categories. But I want you to just pause for a second because, like Brock said, I do have a lot of energy. So sometimes I have to go, okay, we need to calm down for a minute. Everybody calm down and kind of get grounded this morning. And I want to ask you a question. And I want you to just write down the first things that pop into your mind. What do you really want? What do you really want? I remember the first time I was asked this question, I was at a seminar, actually in LA with Bob Proctor. That was the first person I started studying years ago, and he's gone from this earth now. But his partner, Sandy Gallagher, from stage asked this question, what do you really want? And I thought, what a simple question, but it's really complex because most of the time we give just a surface answer or that thing that maybe is that pain point right now. Like maybe go, I want more money. I want more time. I want more flexibility. You know, whatever that thing is that comes to you first, I want you to just write that down. And then we're not going to do this today, but I'm going to encourage you to do this later today or later this week. Is I want you to keep asking yourself about that surface level answer that you gave. Why is that important to me? And then once you get that answer, I want you to ask yourself again, why is that important to me? And what happens is after you go 7 levels deep with this question of why is that important to you, you're going to get to the root and the emotional reason of why that very first answer is so important to you. Okay. And the thing about having a vision and having a goal and really being clear on what you want is that when we're emotionally attached to something, it's incredible the actions that we will take to get it. But if you're not tapped into the real true why of why you want what you want, it's really easy to put it off. And then what happens is another month goes by, another 6 months, another year, and you go, wow, I'm in the same place as I was like a year ago. I really didn't make that much progress. And so it's really important that we tap into that. And that is the thing that drives us every day. And so I want you to work on getting clear on that. And a lot of times, guys, we get so busy in our lives that we don't really take the time to get clear. And so there are symptoms of when you lack clarity. Okay. So the first thing that you'll notice if you lack clarity is you just kind of keep like oscillating, like in that same place. It's like you just feel like you're on like the hamster wheel, right? Just like a rat race. You keep circling over and over again. And you just, what happens is you feel like you're doing things, but you're really not getting anywhere. That's a big symptom of lack of clarity. The other thing is you can look at your results. Now, my company is called the Revenue Agency, and that is because everything that I do is to try to help people make more money. That is always my goal. I said this from stage in Nashville, but I have a very deep belief that when good people make more money, they do more good in the world. Have you guys ever heard the saying, money and alcohol just magnify the person that you already are? So if anybody has any money concepts in this room today, this virtual room that we're in, I want you to just kind of put them aside. So like I think everybody in here is probably a pretty dang good person. If you make more money, that's a blessing, right? So everything I do is to try to help people go make more money. But if your results, if your revenue has been really stagnant or even slid backwards, that's probably because you have a lack of clarity. And, you know, I've experienced this in my own business. I have built many businesses, but this most recent one, we're just over a year in. And, you know, when you cross the year mark, it's like, whew, we made it. Okay. Like maybe we got this, you know? But when it was newer, I had a lot of lack of clarity in figuring out what really were we offering people? What was the right price point? Who was my target client? There was a lot of figuring it out in the beginning. And so I don't ever want anybody to feel negative about lacking clarity, because the important thing is that we continue to try to figure it out. And at the beginning of this year, a new year is a really great time to kind of take some time off and get really centered and figure out, okay, what are we really doing from the data that I have, from what I've been doing? What can I kind of figure out and map going forward? And I got very clear on my vision for who I wanted to work with, how I wanted to work with them, the money that I wanted to make. And I'll tell you guys what, January has been insane momentum. But it doesn't mean that everything's easy, because when you get clear and you have a clear vision for what you want, you're going to have to start making some decisions. Okay. So, where's my note on that? I had a really good note on that. Okay. It takes decisions and it takes boundaries. Okay. So, this gets into more of the skill of prioritizing and what's for you and what's not for you. You have this vision, and then things are going to come at you in your life and opportunities, and you're going to have to decide, yes, that gets me closer to my vision, or no, that's just going to take up my time and I'm actually not going to get closer to that. So I want you to write down decision. Okay. Decide, probably heard this. I've heard this from multiple people, but it means to cut off. Decide means to cut away. And so when you, once again, are clear on this vision, you have to figure out what is like what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. What is not help? What are you doing currently that is not helping you get closer to where you are or where you want to be? Okay. And that brings me, like I said, it doesn't always mean that the decisions are easy. I had to fire a client this week. Somebody I had on a thousands of dollars monthly retainer. And we've only worked together maybe 3 months. But there was just, you guys hear of like red flags, right? There was like some yellow flags with this guy. There was just some stuff that I was like, I don't align with that. And then he jokingly like said something rude to me, and I was like, I don't align with that either. Like, that's not okay for me. Like, you're not going to call me that name as a joke. And like, nah, we're not doing that. And so there was just some multiple things that came up, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to work with him anymore. Never paid his bill on time. It was like I was always pulling teeth. It was just, one of those people that it's like, even though you're going above and beyond, they're still not, like, they still want more from you. That's not how I operate as a person. And that's not the type of people I want to be around. So I had to make that decision of, I'm going to release that money, right? That I think is going to come in. And I'm going to say, hey, I don't think that we're actually a good fit and a good partnership to work together. And do you know what's really cool? And this is where faith comes into play, is that when you make those decisions and you say, that's not for me, it's incredible the opportunities that you'll be blessed with, because that was on Monday. And then literally after I resolved that in those emails and that communication, a client that I talked to, or a potential client that I talked to the day before, that's going to come in and do a 5-figure deal with me, said, hey, I'm in. And so it was like, yeah, like, okay, that's that confirmation of I'm on the right path. Like, I'm clear, I'm making tough decisions, I'm having really uncomfortable conversations, but then there's blessings and things that are coming on the back end that say, yep, because you're showing up as the person that you're deciding to be. So here's these opportunities that are now ready for you because you're growing as a person. And then guess what? The next day, another 4-figure deal came in. They said, we're in, we love you guys, we want to do business. So it's like, that's that type of momentum, because I'm making tough decisions. I'm clear on what I want, I'm clear on who I want to work with, and I have a vision for what we're turning into as a company. So I hope that that's helpful. So when you make a decision, what this does is you're creating this new identity, and then you're taking action. You're acting as that future self. Have you ever heard the phrase, the best coach that you can probably have is your future self? If you're really clear on that person that you're growing into and you're having a tough decision, the thing is decisions really aren't that tough. It's just the action that we have to take after we make the decision. That's the uncomfortable part. I knew for probably 6 weeks I didn't want to work with this guy anymore. But it took me a little while to make the decision, because I get into my head of, well, what if he gets mad at me? What if he comes back at me with his other stuff? What if, I've been in this industry a while. I have had men threaten me, like say they're going to sue me, say like crazy stuff that I'm just like, oh my goodness. So I get a little gun shy when I stick up for myself. So none of that happened. Thank goodness, because that was my fear, right? But he handled it very well. Just so if you want to know how that story ended, he was like, okay, I'm a little surprised, but I was like, well, okay. Anyways, we don't really need to go into that. So making decisions, that's an identity move. It's choosing who you're going to be. It removes the internal debate because when you decide, what's right for you and what's not. And it creates clarity and momentum. So like I alluded to, Bob Proctor, I'm a big fan of his work. And a quote from him is, once a decision is made, the subconscious mind then goes and organizes resources to support it. And it's incredible the stuff that will show up in your life when you're very clear on what you're creating. So that covers our mindset piece. We got 7 minutes to go. Man, time flies. Has anybody even had coffee yet? I'm like trying to drink my coffee. It's like 7:30 in the morning here. Like, what day is it? All right, let's get into the skills. So the skill that we're going to talk about today is prioritization. Okay, that's a mouthful. And I love the definition of words because I think it really just helps us make it simple and understand it. Prioritization is the ability to consistently choose the right action at the right time based on your decision and your identity. So, creating priorities and really deciding what they are, once you have the vision, it becomes very simple. Like I said, you go, yep, it's just, does this work for me? Does this not work for me? And sometimes what you have to do is you just have to get organized. In my coaching group yesterday, I used the analogy of cleaning out a closet. How many of y'all like your closet's a disaster? Anybody? Mine gets there and then it gets really cleaned up and then it kind of gets there again. I don't know what happens, honestly. I don't know what happens in that closet. I see the women going, yep, got it. But when I clean out anything, a cupboard, closet, drawer, whatever, I start by taking everything out of it, right? That's what we do. We take everything away and then we start prioritizing what works and what doesn't, right? And then we get rid of what doesn't work for us. And then we put back in the things that are our priorities, the things we like, the things that are getting us closer to what we want that to look like. So I want you to think about that with your calendar. Okay. So when you're prioritizing your business activities, your work, the things that might not seem like business activities, like maybe working out, moving your body, I believe all day long that will help you be more successful is if you're, getting that energy going, being healthy in your physical body, like drinking water, eating healthy, working out, all those things. I'm a big believer that will always raise your frequency and help you be more successful. So that to me is a massive priority in my life. I try to work out 4 to 5 days every week and I get it done in the morning because as the day goes, who knows what is going to happen, right? But that is a rock in my calendar. And then also, I want you guys to think about follow up in business conversations. Like I said, you got to make things simple when you're building a business or trying to grow something, whatever that is. You gotta make time for this every single day. I believe that this is where you will create the most momentum in your business is talking to people. And this could be talking to past clients, right, for referrals, checking in with them, nurturing those relationships, people you need to follow up with, maybe that you've already talked to, right? And maybe you just need to figure out, are they in or are they out? Follow up is huge. So much business is in the follow up. You got to make time for that literally every single day. And then also those new conversations, those new people who you need to be talking to, new connections, people you don't know yet. I can guarantee you, if you make time for this every single day, and it could literally be an hour of your time, block it out on the calendar. This is my time for sales conversations, new conversations, connections, and follow up. And I would tell you, do this before noon. If you think about you as a person, because everybody's a human that we're working with, right? We're really not that complicated. What happens as the day goes along? We're stuff happens with the kids, family, things come up. You got this email, you're getting back to all these things in the afternoon, right? The morning, people are fresh. They're starting a new day. They're more present. They're getting into action. Do your follow up, all this stuff before noon. Another funny quote from Bob Proctor is I remember he said, nobody gets up, makes a sale at the crack of noon. It's make a sale first thing in the day, first thing in the morning. Get up and get that stuff off the plate. Okay. Get it done. And the thing with that too is this is sometimes the stuff that makes us uncomfortable. So a lot of times we put it off. This is why we spend our time doing things that make us feel good. I built a big team of coaches in a business. Gosh, I've been out of it a couple years, but over 7 years, I had over 100 women on my team. And people would be like, well, I'm trying to grow my business. It's like, but you spent all day cleaning your house. Not that that's not important. I love a clean house, but it wasn't moving their business forward. It was making them feel good. It was making them feel like, hey, I accomplished something today. It's like, okay, but did you move the needle in your business? And so that's where those priorities come in. So I would say you got to block this stuff out. And then, for your specific business, what are those other things that are really going to move the needle? So I'm going to give you 3 principles of prioritization. What a word. Wow. Okay. So the first one is not all actions are equal. I think we just kind of covered that, right? Is like vacuuming your house might make you feel good, but is it helping you make more money? Go make all the money so somebody else can vacuum your house. How about that? Like my cleaning lady comes every Friday because guess what? She can come, her and her gals knock this out. I'm feeding her business, I'm helping her business grow. And that time is so much better spent with my clients and the people that I might serve down the road, right? My time is way better put in other places than, cleaning my kitchen counters. God, that's a never ending thing. So, with this, actions that they're not all equal. Some create momentum. Those are the big rocks that you want to have. Some help maintain your business. And those definitely have to be, you got to have admin stuff, or you can delegate that. But if you're a one woman, one man show, you got to do that stuff. So that's the stuff that maintains. And then some are distractions. Okay. Oh my gosh. 2 more. And then I'm going to give you your action step for the week. Okay. Principle number 2, priority is decided in advance. If I make the decision that I'm going to work out every day of the week, it's going on my calendar and it's non-negotiable because I'm not going to feel like it. When it comes time, I'm never ready to go do something hard, but I'm going to go do something hard because I already decided. So I'm not going to let my emotions dictate my actions. And then the last one, high leverage actions first. I think we've nailed that one. Plenty. You totally understand that one. And then my action step to you this week, man, my war room, you guys, this is ridiculous. Look at this. I mean, this is crazy. We didn't even get to half the stuff, is to go to work on this in your calendar this week. I want you to take time and look at it. I love a digital calendar because these things go with us everywhere, and start to put those rocks in your calendar. And then you put the other stuff that's kind of, like the little stuff that's maybe more flexible. But I really want to challenge you this week to figure out what your priorities are and then go block them out and make time for them. Okay. We are at 7:45. This has been amazing. Brock, I don't know if you want to come back on, but you guys, I'm going to be here every month with you. I will share, if you're like, this gal's wild, I would love to be with her every week. I have a group coaching program on Tuesdays that I do at 12 o'clock Central Time. It's very inexpensive because I just want to bring a ton of value for people. It's literally $47 a month. I'm going to drop the link if you want to join it. It's every Tuesday. You get all the recordings. I don't want to do a big push for that, but just if you're into something like that, there's the link. You can check it out. So I'll be back next month. Brock, turn it back over to you, buddy.
I love it. Put a 5 in the chat if you took some notes down today or you took a nugget. Put a 5 in the chat if you have some note. I have like one notebook already on. I was like Brittney Hall, Bob Proctor. I wrote down her prioritization, that big keyword that you put out in there. I like the line that said, "Not all actions are equal." I don't know if this is the exact same phrase, but like in my world, and also what I found very fascinating is, who would have thought that this is what you were going to talk about today after Jim and I just literally spent time diving deeper and getting clarity. That's the biggest thing, is getting clarity. Like, why the hell are you doing what you're doing? Like, what is the purpose? What is the reason? What is the meat and potatoes behind it? And so I was just like, all right, God, I get it. Jim asked me about it. Now I got Brittney telling me about it. So like, I really want you guys to like lean into what she said today. This recording is going to be on the Facebook group. We're going to get Grace to do the show notes on here, especially on our Wednesdays, because these leaders that are on here, they speak once a month, and that's why I tell them, I said, put your stuff out there, because there's somebody out there be like, damn, for 47 bucks, I'm in. To be able to talk to you and to be around that, like that's like instead of going to like freaking Starbucks like 2 times, like why don't I pour into my friend? There's no need to drink a cup of coffee like sipping over there. It's just she's like, I'm gonna sip on something on that one. But guys, this is what I love about what I get to do is bring amazing people, and then they get to share their insights and what they do so you can be around them more. And that's the biggest thing is I told Jim, I said, I just want to be around winners. That's what it is. And Brittney, you're that today. So I appreciate you all. Thank you guys so very much. Brittney, thank you so much for sharing today. You were a rock star. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, all our information is in the chat. We will also have it on the Facebook channel. And so feel free to go back, look at, review it, take a look at our show notes, ask her some questions, reach out to her for whatever it is that you need, and join her program if you're able to do that. I think it'd be freaking phenomenal. Guys, I appreciate you. Tomorrow morning at 7:15, 8:15, 6:15, wherever the hell you are in the country, I'll be back home because I'm going home this afternoon. So it'll be 8:15 for me tomorrow. Thursday, we have Justine who's going to be here on our Thursday edition. I appreciate y'all. Brittney, I appreciate you. God bless y'all. I'm on my way to Gary Ashton's event to get ready to go speak and blow their mind. So I'm excited about that. Till all of you tomorrow. See ya.